Hi guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. All right, so we're just continuing where we left off in the last video. I wanted to go ahead and say the first page of each signature and the middle page of each signature, I use heavier cardstock just because it makes it sturdier. And I make sure that the first page and the middle page are the exact max height for my glue book, so that everything fits within those pages. The front page, the first page, I also make sure is the widest, so it covers all the pages that are inside. But we'll get to that later. So I have this craft calendar. I have no idea what year it is from. I don't even know where I got it, but I was thinking it might work for our middle. So let me see. I have to cut it down. Yeah, it's 18 inches wide, so it's a little more than we want for this. And the height is actually probably perfect. So yeah, because it's exactly 12 inches. So we'll use this for our middle probably. So I'm gonna go ahead and, since I have to cut it down anyway, I'm just gonna do this. Because it is really, really thick. Like that didn't even cut through. All right, let's try again. Whoa, there go my calendars. Okay, so there's one. So there are 3, and then I can cut these down. And okay, this is where I'm going to probably struggle a bit, because I need these to be like 16, probably I'll just do 16 inches, but my cutter only goes to 13. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna determine where 3 more inches is here, and that's what I'm gonna line up with the 13. Does that make sense? So instead of lining the edge up, I'm gonna go 3 more inches out. It's very approximate, but it's close enough for me. And then we can just cut that off. And that should be approximately correct. We'll see. We'll test it here in a minute. So they can't be more than 16.5, but I want to try to keep them around 16. And that's just about perfect. It's just a little bit over 16. So yay. Okay, so then we can fold them in half. And I think I'll put the blank side in. Okay, come on. I'm gonna use a bone folder for this. This is some seriously thick craft paper for a calendar. All right, so just want to double check. It is about 8, which is fine. And the height is about 12, which is perfect. All right, so these will be our center pages. So they'll go in the, they'll be in the middle of the signatures or the front. I haven't decided yet, but either way, they'll work. I'm actually thinking I might cut these down a little narrower, because I always have an issue. I always forget about it until the end, and then it's a little more difficult. But in order to keep all the pages, in the inside of the signature smaller than the outer page, you've got 20 pages, right? That's a lot of paper. And as you stack them, they just stick further and further out. So if I know it's going to be in the middle, I actually will cut it even shorter than my original measurement. So my original measurement was 8 1/4. So I'm going to do these at 7 1/2, because I feel like by the time we get to the center, these are going to be, pretty massive signatures. So just do that real quick. So probably an easier way to do what I did would have been to fold them first. I'm sure you are all saying, Emily, why don't you just fold them first? I know. It's all right. Hey, my way worked too. It just wasn't the most convenient method of getting the job done, right? Ooh, I always grab, ooh, that was loud, like the scrapbook paper that I don't typically use for other things. So these are the papers that I tend to use for glue books, just because they're brighter, or that kind of thing. Now I was thinking, I think what I'm going to do so I can show you this process, I have this craft cardstock that has like pretty neon colors, and I said I wanted to use cardstock for my first page as well. So I think I'm going to use this. So let me find, let's do this one and this one. Okay, so we're going to piece these together, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can do this. So there's, for one signature, here's for another signature, and let's do these 2. All right. So there are probably even more than, 3 different ways to do this. But that's what I have come up with. All right, so we know that these are 12 by 12, right? And we know that 12 is good for our height. But if you remember, I said that I want to make sure that my first page of my signature is the largest, so that everything else fits inside. Okay, so 8 1/4 would be my max. I was right. Okay. So obviously if you fold a 12 by 12 1/2, it's going to be 6 inches. So it's not big enough, right? So first, we're going to just cut off that, that strip at the top with the hole in it. Okay, so we're gonna do it this way. Now, there are two washi tape methods, sort of, and then there is a sewing method. So let's do the washi tape method first. So the first method, if I can get my words out, is very similar to the way we fixed the old book pages, you know, to make them sturdier, right? So we're just going to connect these with the washi tape. So I'm going to put some glue on both pages. Like that. And I want to make sure that they line up fairly well. Okay. And then just like that, and then we'll flip it over. And we've got a nice line there. And I'm going to add glue down here so I can glue this flap down. And then just add our glue to both sides, both pages again. And then we can just overlap a little bit. And we'll tear that off. Okay, so well, we'll just do it. Okay, so now we have obviously like 24 inches across, and that's too much. So I'm gonna fold them where I taped them. Okay, we know that our height is okay. It's 12 inches, and we want our width when it's folded to be around 8 1/4 or even maybe a hair more. So we're just gonna cut it. So you've essentially turned two, where did my pin go? 2 pages into a, you know, a folded page. All right, so 8 1/4 is right there, and I'm gonna go just 1/8 more than that. Just like that. And now you have the first page of the signature. Pretty cool, right? All right, then the next method is very similar. It's actually identical. Oh, well, I should have left that up. Let's just cut all these off now, so we don't have to worry about it. So let's do these two. And again, I just want to make sure that I'm getting them the right direction. All right, they're actually, hold on. All right, so this is going to be, yeah, this is my up. And I think this one too. Let me just make sure. Okay. All right, so we're going to do the exact same thing. That we did before. So it's pretty much the same technique. I'm just going to show you a way to make it more fun. All right, so we did the exact same thing, right? Now, let me find my pin for my glue. Okay. Now, instead of folding it on its, on the natural kind of fold where we taped it together, we are going to fold it. Let me make sure I'm not going too far. Let's do, hold on, I gotta think a second. Okay, so our natural fold is there. That will probably work. So basically I'm just creating a different space or different place to fold it, and then we'll cut it down to the appropriate size, which is 8. We did 8 1/4 plus 1/8, correct? And the reason it's more fun is because now you have the washi tape, like off to the side on a page, and you've got 2 different scrapbook papers showing at the same time on the one side, and then the other side is just one. So you can do it like that too. Okay? All right, so there's that one, and then we have one more to do. And this one, all right, you need to go this way. This one, I am going to sew them together instead of using the washi tape. But I am going to, why is that not lining up? Hold on. Let me figure out which way these go. Okay, so they need to go this way. All right, so I'm going to sew them together, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap them again. And if I can do it right, I'll get it so that I don't have to cut anything off. So I'm starting at the 1 inch, and we want it to be 16 and a half plus a little bit, right? So that would be the 17 and a half mark, and then I'll go out a little bit further. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and in the interest of keeping it where I want it, I'm going to glue it. I'm just going to use a glue stick and add a little bit of glue. Just right in the middle, just to hold it in place until I can get it to the sewing machine. Like that. And then, okay, so then I'll take it to the sewing machine, and I will be right back and show you what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so here's what you end up with after you sew them together. And I just sew them right on the, like on the seam of where they come together. If you can see that or not. It's probably easier to see on this side. And just use a zigzag stitch. And then all you have to do is fold it in half. And we should have the right size. Might be a little bit big, but then we can just trim it. So we did 8 1/4 plus 1/8. Right? Oh no, actually it's 8 1/4. No, it's actually pretty perfect. So, yep. All right, and there you go. And then you have something interesting to look at as well on the inside and the outside, actually. And I'd probably trim these just because there's not really a need to leave them long. But you could if you wanted to. All right, so there's 3 different ways that you can attach pages together that, you know, are too short so that you make a bigger page. Awesome. All right, there's that. So we've got our first pages and our center pages. So I'm just going to mark that on my piece of paper that I'm keeping track of everything on. So we've got first and center. So 1 of each. So far we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11-ish pages in each signature. This one only has 10, but yeah. So we're off to a good start. Let me see what else I have here, because obviously then in the center, you know, you don't have to piece them together. You can just leave them short, right? So we could pick some colorful pages here. This one's very colorful. And this one's cool because it has alphabet on it. And then how about the stripy one? And then we can trim them down to our 12 inches for our height. And then all we have to do is fold them in half. So that's gorgeous. I have way too much stuff on my desk. Okay. So here is 12-inch line, and then that should get rid of that. Most of it anyway. Wasn't exactly at the right mark, but that's okay. I don't mind. And then all we have to do is fold them in half, and they'll go right in our signatures perfectly. All right, guys, I am going to continue on. I think you kind of get the general, well, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I'm going to do one more page video or paper video showing you things that I pick because I do more than just plain papers. Oops, I got 2 here. And that way I can kind of show you how I do that, or what I choose. So, yep. All right. So there's our scrapbook papers, and we'll write that down. All right, guys, I hope you're finding this fun and fascinating. I'm just gonna put scrapbook paper, or at least somewhat informative. Please give it a thumbs up if you do, and I hope you stick around for the rest of the series. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll be back soon, guys. You have a fantastic day. Bye.